Hi there.
Greetings. Yeah,
my name is Gary. Just checking you guys out.
Zoo and Gary over here checking it out, man. You'll enjoy it. Thank you for taking the time to come check out Lotus Television, Gary.
Shalom, Lotus.
Oh, Zoo. Shalom, Malak. In the building. That's right. All right, you're now tuned in. Go ahead.
Greetings, that sister, Anu Cat, here to learn. Go get him.
Cat in the building. All right. Got my little make everyone happy type music going on for the introduction. All right, you're now tuned in to the #1 investigative primordial empirical research channel on YouTube, Lotus Television. I'm your host, Lotus, founder of the Black Lotus Civilization broadcast on Blog Talk Radio. Today and tonight, or might be in the AM where you are around the world, on Lotus Television, we will continue to investigate this piece that's heavily involved in the Renaissance, dealing out of the Renaissance into the Royal Society. Now, I'd like to welcome everyone back to the Lotus Television show. This show will live stream daily for the benefit of our species and progress of our greatest grandchildren to come. What I have set in motion is self-evident and profound. The fact that mind manufacture, mass produce will lead the way. Printed technology has taken 3MP to the next level, and 3MP has always was a plan to remove labor force by creating machines to handle our daily tasks. So honorable admiration to the 5,000 elite, Olmec Nation, Aboriginal movement, honorable admiration to our brother Lex Vortex as well, and the Vortex Media family. And here we go. Now, this topic, this subject is it's something that has been hidden out of the reach of those who are Pan-Africans and Afrocentrics who deal with what they call meta-netter, which many call hieroglyphs. And there is so many out there that are so blind to the facts of Krata-Rapoa, what we will be discussing here, which is Pigpen Cipher, and cryptography. Now, let's cut the music. I definitely need to get some questions in. Hold on, family. There we go. All right, there we go. All right, everyone on the panel. Any questions before we deal with this? In fact, the images that you're seeing right now are connected to this as well. These are images from published in History Hieroglyphica, and these are, certain centuries, such as the one that's there, the people of color in Europe. Art, because, you want to be historically accurate when you deal with history. And that's a story in itself that is connected to this that will shock a lot of people when the information comes out. But tonight, we already dealt with Ormus. I'm waiting for our brother to come in, Brother Claim, because he was shocked at the information that came out. Well, not so much as shocked, but he had some insight that helped in, put some, basically interjected some very interesting questions concerning Ormus. And so, as usual, I'll go over these notes again and see if we can pull something out and put it together. So far, hold on, is that it? Oh, hold on, my song. Yeah, okay. All right, so we have Ormus, the 18th century Rosicrucian Egyptian priest during St. Mark 96 circa. He reformed Egyptian magic to fit the teachings of Christianity, religion, and the society of Ormus is known as Ormesius. Also, Order of the Golden and Rosy Cross. Origin stories, Rosicrucians, Priory of Sion, and you can also research the pseudo sides of it, which they call the alchemy rejected knowledge. And that will also give you more insight into the people involved in presenting this information. And then it gives you the people who translate it to English so we can read it and understand it today. Now, what we'll be dealing with today is Krata-Rapoa. And so far, there is some very interesting data that has been gathered about Rabbi Isaac the Blind, whose father was Abraham, and his student was, I believe, was Arziel. Well, I'm mistaking on the student's name at the moment. All right, cut that. Get back over here. Hold on, y'all. All right, so I'm gonna throw my avatar on to everyone know who I am. Okay, so when it comes to Rabbi Isaac the Blind, we covered it yesterday, and we found that this connection to the Qabala that at the bottom of my notes, there is a period of time, which is the years of 1486. And it says that there's an Italian Hermetic philosopher who goes by the name of Giovanni Pico della Mirandola. And the person that's connected to him is Johannes Reuchlin. And it has here de verbo mirifico. So de verbo mirifico, you know, you say it like that, or you could just English it. On the wonders of working words. So the wonders of working words is what? We will deal with that tonight. And we will be going into the Corpus Hermeticum. And this is where we're going to connect Pigeon Cipher back to Krateropoa, which we've already dealt with. And we're just going over the things that are connected, as this is dealing with Krateropoa, which is the ancient Egyptian initiatorial system of all of Egypt. So that's including the 360 degrees of the Temple of Amun-Ra and variations of anything connected to that, and even down to Akhenaten with his tradition. So what we have is the Hieroglyphica of Horapollo, which is also connected to publishing history hieroglyphica, or publishing history of the Hieroglyphica. Then in the Corpus Hermeticum, we will be dealing with pseudo-Egyptian rites and masonry invented during these years, included the Krateropoa. And the names connected to that, we will go over those names again, which is in 1770, we have Cagliostro's Egyptian rites. In fact, they're saying that this Alessandro Cagliostro is the one who invented the initiatorial system that many follow today, including Pan-African and Afrocentrics. It just so happens to be that Cagliostro is also the name of the book in the movie that was released last year by the name of Doctor Strange. And that is where they find Dormammu, where no time exists, where there's no time, and it's just eternity and supposed to be a form of hell. It so happens in the movie, they say that book is called Cagliostro, the Book of Cagliostro, or whichever name tied into it. So with that, we also have in 1778, Rites of Misraim in 1805, or 5th year of the 19th century. We have the Rites of Memphis in 1814. Then we have Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart with his magic flute in 1791. The other names that are connected to the Corpus Hermeticum, along with the names in publishing history hieroglyphica, are Arturo Regahini, Rene Guénon. Now, might be pronouncing those names a little wrong, but we will research those names together here on Lotus Television. Any questions from anyone on the panel? Anyone in the chat? Let me see what's cracking in the chat.
Yeah,
yes,
a lot of this is new to me. But I'm just gonna sit tight and listen and learn.
Awesome, and always feel free to interject. You know, by the way, like this is a channel where it's strictly for the information. So it's like with me, I feel like it's not really about me. I feel like it's about, you know, the information for everyone to get it and see it for themselves, so there would be no more confusion about these things. There's a lot of confusion concerning these subjects and topics, and this is really to clear it up and give a you know, really to cut right to the bone, to give you the meat and potato, you know, as soon as you're able to digest it. But there's another.
Sorry.
Yes.
No, I was gonna say I'm guessing it's a dismantling of religious mindsets or religion in itself. Am I guessing that's correct?
Not a dismantling of religions. This is more dealing with like secret societies and cults occult into magic and variations of those things in the orders. Like I'll give you an example. I'm going to play a video. And this video is it's going to clear it up. Now the video will have actually more of a religious satire where it's Christian speakers who are basically, you know, kind of going too far in the way that they're defining everything. But the imagery and the things that you're seeing will speak for itself. You might have seen this video. It's a video about the tunnel that was dug from Switzerland to Germany. And when they finished digging the tunnel, they performed a ceremony. And this is going to be a long video too. You guys are in for a treat. Due to work being slow at my job at the moment, I'm on call, so we might be able to run this all night. So man, we'll be digging. It's a possibility. If I get that call, you know, sorry. You know, that's life. But hey, now let me load this video up. Let me let you know what it's about. The video is it's about a ritual performance in Switzerland where they're talking about the origins of the entry into Switzerland. And that would be the Knights Templars and the Crusades. So it's a very, very, very interesting story. And to top it off, you're going to see things that connect Egypt to it. So I'm going to show some things. There's some other videos I will be showing that are going to, you know, bring some little enlightenment. And, you know, I don't have a biased channel. I'm let go of all centricism. So it won't have that either on this channel. But let me get this video going before. Okay, let me go over this because this is also connected. And these other orders. The other orders that we will deal with before we get to cryptography, and this will be directly after finishing up Corpus Hermeticum, will be the Octagon Society. Then we'll deal with Opus Dei. After that, we deal with all the orders. The Order of the Camel, Order of Mopses, Order of Nine Angels, Order of the Amarath, Order of the Eastern Star, Order of the Garter, Order of the Golden and Rosy Cross, which goes back into Ormus, Order of the Happy, Order of the Helmet, Order of the Star in the East, Order of the White Rose, Order of the Woodcutters, Ordo, Novi, Templi. And that's how we'll end those orders. In order.
That's deep. I'll try and hang on as long as I can. I've got about 11% of battery, so if I drop out, you know why.
Perfect. Well, let me get this video going right now. Oh man, let me remember. What do I call it? What's the name of it? Devil worship. Hold on. There we go. All right. Let me make sure I gotta get the whole video. I want the whole video. Here we go. All right. Y'all ready for this? Now, yeah. I used to sit and be like, man, I don't want to start sending this.
Here. In a moment, I'm going to step into my office.
Like, I don't want to start sending this stuff out, man, because I don't want to, you know, start spooking people out. But that's what the subject and topic's about.
By working in a coffee shop to creating a life that I love. All
right, hopefully the video won't be acting up like that. All right, let me get this. Hold on, let me get the screen share going on.
A brother in Christ shared a video with me
the other day. I told him I would check it out. He was telling me about it, and I was like, really? So he sent me the link. I checked it out, and I've seen some
Come on, man.
crazy things since being a Christian. I've come across some crazy stuff on the internet, on YouTube, different videos, different studies. I've seen some crazy demonic stuff. But this video that I watched, it takes the cake. And it's not so much that it's demonic in the sense of it's like scary. It's demonic in a sense because it's so creepy. And what is going on in the symbolism and stuff that they are doing in this video. Some of you have seen it. It's the ritual that they did at the tunnel in Switzerland. Now, again, I've seen some crazy stuff. I've made some videos where I had to put together that I didn't really want to do. But when I say that my mouth was dropped open like this, like, I'm serious. My mouth was like that because I'm like, are you serious? Now, I couldn't really believe what I was watching, even though I know that it's true. Even though I know these different things are going on in the world, but when I seen this video, it was like, what in the world? So I'm warning you, this video is disturbing. If you can't handle things like this, then don't watch it. Turn the video off now, because I'm giving a warning beforehand. Because I don't want anybody saying, oh man, I watched that and that vexed my spirit. I'm giving you a warning beforehand. If you can't handle it, if you're not ready for that type of stuff, then I understand that. I have videos out that's showing people possessed and stuff, and to show people that possessions are real. Some people can't handle that stuff. I understand that. So if you can't handle this type of stuff, then do not watch it. That's the disclaimer. With that being said, I'm going to roll the video, and then I'm going to interject on certain parts of it. What you're about to see is the workers in a zombie-like trance. Pretty freaky.
Welcome to Lotus Television. As always, I'm bringing something you might never have seen before. Now you have. What the hell is going on? You know something crazy, y'all? It's not even getting started.
What we are seeing is the all-seeing eye and three unclean spirits. This could represent the Celtic or Celtic spiral, which ties into a triune being, or what is known as the triple goddess in Celtic beliefs. The Celtic triple spiral is sometimes called the spiral of life. It was found in the New Grand site from the Bronze Age in Ireland. The triple spiral is an ancient symbol of Celtic beliefs and was used consistently in Celtic art for 3 millennia. The Celtics believe that all life moved in eternal cycles, regenerating at each point. Celts also believe that all important things came in 3 phases. For example, birth, death, and rebirth, and mind, body, and spirit. In neo-pagan religions, the triple spiral is also used to represent the triple goddess. According to Uriel's machine by Knight and Lomas, the triple spiral may represent the 9-month period of human pregnancy, since the sun takes a fourth of a year to go from the celestial equator to extreme north or south declination, and vice versa. During each 3-month period, the sun's path appears to form a closely wound quasi-helical shape, which can be likened to a spiral, so that 3 spirals could represent 9 months, providing an explanation for a link between fertility and the triple spiral symbol. It also represents the Celtic belief of the 3 realms, which are land, sea, and sky, and a triple strand DNA. I believe all of this is being portrayed, but I also believe the triple strand DNA is more so being shown because of what happens next. A lowercase g God will be mating with a daughter of man to produce a child, just like in Genesis.
Hey, what are they high on? Sorry about that, y'all.
What you will now see is Satan having sex with the woman. This is obvious from the sounds and what is going on. This is why I stated I believe it points more to the triple strand DNA. All right, now the beast and the woman have become one. The seed of the beast is in the woman's womb, as you will see, and she is going to give birth to the man of sin, the Antichrist. I know it's crazy, but as you can see, this is what is going on, and this is what they are showing. I believe the two women are supposed to represent the two witnesses, like in Revelation. In Revelation, the two witnesses prophesy for half of Daniel's 70th week. These women are doing similar by singing, announcing the birth and announcement of the man of sin, the son of perdition. Just like the two witnesses, they prophesy and they preach and they announce about the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. They should repent and believe the gospel. I could be completely wrong on this, but this is what I'm getting from it. They are calling all those who come from their version of the tree of life back. These are the people you see walking up. This is why you see their version of the tree of life upside down, as above, so below. Now, according to pagans, their tree of life encompasses all realms of existence. It is eternal in nature, having no beginning or ending. Wonder where they got that from. The tree of life is a symbol of immortality and healing of the soul. Its fruit
is said to keep the gods, lowercase g, youthful. Their tree of life has many meanings. The balance and harmony in nature, wisdom, strength, rebirth. Just as a tree would shed its leaves in the fall, hibernate in the winter, and be reborn with new leaves in the spring. Now I want you to notice that on their tree, in the picture, it has no leaves. It is also said the tree of life unites the upper and lower worlds, as above, so below. Its roots reach deep into the lower world, while its branches grow to the upper world. The trunk of the tree of life connects the two worlds to Earth's plane. It is through this connection that gods, lowercase g, in heaven can communicate with people through the tree of life. Again, notice the tree is upside down. If something is right side up and spills, that's a big difference if it was flipped upside down. Think about a glass of water. If it is standing straight up and some spills out, the force isn't as violent or fast in comparison to if the glass of water is flipped completely over to let all the water fall out. God said that he will shake the heavens and Satan will be cast to the earth with 1/3 of the angels, meaning they will be cast out with violence. They are telling you in an occult way what is going to happen. Now we know that for born again believers, the tree of life is the Lord Jesus Christ. This tree of life in this video is not our tree. This tree is Satan. They are telling you that the Antichrist is about to come. And they want him.
All right, Edward, so what are we watching right now?
Right now, we have a military formation of, looks like the workers. They look like they're in a mining outfit wearing blue hats, and they're marching in a military formation, almost like zombies. They're very slow.
All in orange jumpsuits here.
Not like zombies. They are marching like zombies.
Yes, they are zombies.
This is like an army of zombies. And these represent the workers that were in the tunnel.
Yes, the workers in the tunnel. And as you mentioned previously, before we started airing this, the 9 miners who died. They worked tirelessly. If you actually look at the details of this, will be in the article. 49,000 hours, 3 shifts a day for 17 years straight. Miners worked tirelessly on this portal, rather this tunnel, digging deeper than.
Okay, so right now the miners, the zombie miners, let's call them zombie miners. Now they ran across the stage. This is outdoors. This is the outdoor ceremony. You see the Swiss Alps in the background. And there is a huge video screen. They're showing men falling off the cliffs, off the rocks.
Right. It looked like they're constructing the tunnel, and it represents maybe people have gotten hurt and things like that during the construction period.
It's after this where it starts to get, I mean, it's already weird with the zombies. But after this part, it gets very strange because, well, let's just go ahead and tell them. Lucifer himself appears on the screen.
After they finished the construction, the initial breaking through for the tunnel.
All right, so now they're breaking through. This is what's important. They broke through the rock. The rock just fell away on the screen. It's what comes out of that mountain that is so freaky because it's Lucifer that appears.
Yes.
He comes out of this mountain. I'm telling you, folks, in all the years of True News, now the zombie workers are taking their clothes off. They're taking.
Right. They're disrobing.
Okay.
Apologies for the Pixel family.
What are we watching now? Is this Hillsong Church?
Swiss version of Hillsong.
This is Hillsong, Switzerland. Hillsong CERN.
And should point out it's both male and females.
Yes.
And they're disrobing. They're basically down to their underwear.
Why would Lucifer? Why would Switzerland use an image of Lucifer coming out of this tunnel, out of this mountain.
Well, there's history on this particular point of geography, and Edward can enlighten you on that.
Yeah, so there's actually above the mountain point of this, there's something called the Devil's Bridge.
Okay, and I'll just point out right now, the workers are down to their underwear. This is outdoors in front of the public. The zombie workers are now stripped down to their underwear, and it's becoming more ritualistic as we go. Well, go ahead, Edward, tell us the history.
Yeah, so there's this bridge above where the actual tunnel, the hardest point of the tunnel, the point where they had to dig through 73 different kinds of rock to get through. This, up until the 1100s, was unpassable. It was actually a point where Switzerland would control their invasions from the north. It was a choke point, kind of like the fiery gates, the gates of Thermopylae that are described in the Spartan 300. Now, with this, the folklore tale is that the townspeople next to this passing point, they made a deal with the devil. And this deal, essentially, they couldn't do it by themselves. They said, hey, devil, will you build this bridge for us? Will you build a bridge that we get across this? The devil said, I will do this, but you have to give me the soul of the first thing to cross this bridge. Now, the devil thought that it was going to be a human. The townsfolk actually tricked the devil in this folk tale, and they sent a goat across. Well, when the goat crossed, the devil killed the goat. It was incredibly angry, and he picked up a very, very large rock. He was going to use this rock to throw and break the bridge, but one of the townfolk, who was a believer in Christ, drew a cross on the rock. And this rock, actually, before they started building this tunnel, was at the point at this bridge up until 1976, when they first began building this underground tunnel. Anyway, because she drew a cross on the rock, the devil couldn't pick it up. He couldn't move it. And at this point, the devil had to flee. So the townfolk saw the bridge as this conqueror, this triumph over the devil.
So you can see that here, this is a ritual that is being performed that has a whole lot more to it than what we think. Now, I had to watch this video, man, about 3 times to really catch everything. And boy, oh boy, the people who are talking, giving that satire, they are missing a lot. And we'll deal with that afterwards. But what you're seeing actually is tied into what we've been talking about.
Yeah, this is really good stuff, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Hey, what, man, what's to come? I'm going to really start putting stuff.
Following. I've been looking deep into some stuff like this for years and closely.
Perfect. Looking forward, man, to having you come back and watch. Anyone else? Any other questions or anything before we continue watching the rest of this? Because watch the next one. Oh boy, it's going down.
5% of my phone, and then it cuts off, so I might drop out in about 20 minutes, I think.
Okay. All right, so you'll be able to actually finish this video. Interesting. All right, man. Enjoy. Won't be doing too many interrupting, and we already have the 2 narrators actually doing it. So I just wanted to share this so the family, can see this on Lotus television, that this is connected to Craterapoa, Pigpen Cipher, and cryptography. This is the ritual part. Now, with Craterapoa, there were some things that were not touched on, but I wanted to bridge that connection, but I wanted to show it visually. So enjoy the rest of this, family. Well, I wouldn't say enjoy.
Coming out in
Endure.
More traditional Swiss garb of red and white with large sticks. Now they're horns, aren't they?
Yes, and look, the devil is right there. And now the devil has emerged in the back of the formation as a goat. He's wearing a goat head, like a ram.
Wearing a goat outfit with the ram's horns and
I saw it. All right, so now there's Lucifer now as a goat. And he's coming out now, and he's furious. And what are these people in the...
They seem to be like bushes, like hay.
Yeah, like these bush people. I don't want to say bush people. I mean, like people people that look like bushes.
Yes. They're draped in wheat, like it's a.
I got an extreme windstorm, y'all. Sorry if I'm breaking up.
It's a gold-colored wheat, almost like swamp ghouls. And on the screen now, the video screen in the back, there's an image of Satan up on the screen. Ghouls. The video screen in the back, there's a transposed image of the devil, the goat man, and they put like a red, like a fire behind it. It looks again like the devil is coming out of that portal.
Right. So you got a guy, an actual person on the stage dressed as a goat.
Also, I'm going to show the connection of what they're saying right there about the goat man connected to Pan and Baphomet.
Portraying Satan.
You see the Egyptian scarabs there?
Yes.
Yeah. What are those things?
Those are Egyptian scarabs. Those are for devouring the dead.
All right. I thought, what are these beetles? They look like three big beetles.
They're Egyptian scarabs.
And there's three of.
Now, I have to expose this. Well, not to expose, I have to share this. Many people say the doom beetle represents evolution or everlasting life and variations of other things that come from Crateropoa, Pigpen, Cipher, and cryptography. They're going to say those are the new age things they're saying. But when you look at what a doom beetle does, it's moving around cow poop and brings life in from cow poop. So we can look at that metaphorically, or we can look at it as, okay, that's what I see the doom beetle doing. How's it representing eternal life and all that? And it gets metaphysically delicious from that point. But also, they're saying that the doom beetle represents something that eats the dead. So when you deal with Ordo Templi Orientis and Ordo Templi Astartes, they're going to show you that they have been saying represents both this whole time. They're saying, well, let's just look at it and see what's said.
Of them, just like there was three spirits and the three miners that got sacrificed in the beginning.
Man, Doc, I didn't know you knew so much.
I read.
I just thought they were big green beetles. Like, what is this about? But Lucifer is
So now there's
in full view on the stage, and now he's turned into
portal of eyes now.
Yes, like all eyeballs now. That's the only thing is on the screen are eyeballs that are circulating.
And there's trumpets now playing for the left and right of the center stage where you have the devil.
Somebody unmuted their microphone. Hold on.
Trumpets. Almost like 50 trumpets lining the stage. People are blowing them. They look like mountain trumpets, but they're gold. And as you hear right now, you hear the devil screaming as he's running around with the white guard spirits.
What do you call them? Swamp ghouls.
Swamp ghouls.
Greetings, Yasharallah.
Right now it looks like
Shalom, family. Shalom, shalom.
Yeah, I'm over here doing it again.
Bro, whenever I can catch you, man, I got your back. I'm going to support you as best as I can.
I really appreciate it, brother.
Well, this happened yesterday.
Hold on, we got some noise in the background. Okay. Oh, I truly appreciate it, family, man. You know.
What I want people to understand is there are
So ritual going on here in Switzerland, and it's connected to CERN. What people don't know is the richest people on the planet are sitting in these bleachers right here. They're sitting up there. And watch.
out of the abyss. And I know many of you listening to me right now are saying, Rick, you're exaggerating it. You're trying to scare me.
I wish we were making this up.
This is deeply
This I'm telling you, after Hillsong Church is nothing compared to this. But then I wouldn't be surprised next week Hillsong does this on the stage.
What's going on here?
But they're calling for Lucifer to come out of the abyss. Do you have any idea, Edward, what this woman is?
So I reached out to my friend on this. It's Italian, but it's babble. It's not actual words. She's singing a very old song. It's a mix between Italian and ancient Germanic.
That's what I was going to say. It's a dialect that only the Luciferians know.
And then we go back, ancient Germanic was used during a time when Germany was conquered by paganism, by ancient animal worship and nature worship, which is what we're seeing currently on the screen. We're now seeing people come out with branches in hand and draped like old.
You see the old the old priests, the old animalistic priests that are on the screen.
This is raw paganism.
Druids.
Well, what is that woman? Like she's wearing antlers. Antlers. These people.
All of those people walking down that aisle, they all in black and white. Pay attention.
That's right. That's right.
You look at the audience, she's baffled by what she's seeing right now.
She must be the only Christian there.
Right there.
And just a reminder, Merkel is there. Who else is there?
Francois Hollande from France, the Prime Minister of Italy,
the Swiss president.
Yeah, this is very pagan right now. This is like right out of the history books of paganism. It's coming fast. This is coming really fast. The end of days is staring us in the face. And look, the clock is now, this is weird because I'm talking about the end of days, and now there's a giant clock on the video screen on the stage in Switzerland. And it's clearly they're telling us something about time.
It's stopping at 9:15, 9:10, 9:20.
Now let's talk about this time thing.
They playing with time.
This is a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill.
Yeah.
1776.
Time is but short, isn't it?
Roman numerals. 1776 marked the start in history of the secret doctrine of the Freemasonic Illuminatis.
Now you see the connection.
Establishing a new Atlantis in anticipation for the coming of their deity Osiris, who we know as Lucifer, Satan, Great Dragon. Now Masons add 4,000 years to the current year on the Gregorian calendar. 1776 on the pyramid plus 4,000 years gives us 5776. So according to them, this is year 5776. This is known as the year of Lucifer, or the year of light, or in Latin, Anno Lucis. 5776 is a measure of how many inches high the Great Pyramid in Giza will be when completed with its capstone. So for the Masons, the year of Lucifer started in September, around September 14th, September 23rd, around that area. Now, what's interesting is, if you go look it up, they say it started in January, but if you do a little bit deeper research, you see that for the Masons, it started in September. If we count 9 months from September 2015, you get June 2016, the timing of a birth. Now, the guy in the video stated that the clock stopped around 9:10, 9:15, and 9:20. It was, between those different times, which would be between June 10th and 20th, time frame of June 10th and 20th. Now, this is pure speculation and is not doctrine or prophecy. I'm just putting the clues together and putting it out there, give you some things to think about. At the end of the day, the Bible, King James Version of the Bible, is the final authority. But it is interesting that this is right around the time of Pentecost. Just food for thought.
Yeah, it did, didn't it? It was always somewhere around 9. And now the people are walking like zombies, and they're carrying offerings. They're lifting these offerings up to the sky, but they're walking like zombies. And now they're dropping to their knees and bowing
Bowing down before the image.
Yes, but what's on the screen is the clock, and it keeps going. The hands of the clock keep going around, and then it stops. So around 9 to 9:15. Now we got nothing of the tunnel. And the train is coming. Okay,
All right. So, if you want, check out his channel. He took the time to put it together. Now, that didn't show all of it. That showed a majority of it. It's a very, very interesting story. I just wanted to show that video to show that these things are going on. These rituals are taking place, and these are the ones that they are showing us. And the places that are taking place, like CERN, the tunnel ritual. But just wanted to share this video. There's another one coming, but not at this moment. Now, anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about yesterday. Hold on, y'all. Back here. All right. Okay,
I'm gonna take this time to say goodbye for now because my phone's about to die, but I'll be back. I'll be tuning in. I'll be following you closely, and I respect what you're doing, and I look forward to seeing more and learning more. Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure, man. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Goodbye for now. Goodbye for now. Shalom, shalom.
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 All right. Let me turn everyone up.
Yazoo.
Yazoo in the building.
Shalom, Ak. Lotus always dropping that heat, man. I ain't never seen that. That was some wild stuff right there.
Yeah, it is, man. Of all places, though, CERN.
Hey, man. Hey, when you get a chance, Izu, you need to check out that whole little ritual, bro. It get deeper than that, bro.
A lot deeper, a whole lot deeper, man.
Yeah, they reveal a lot in that ritual.
That's right.
Yeah, they wild with it, man. They do all this stuff. These the people running countries and setting up governments, and behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? They praising Satan. They doing all type of pagan stuff. I guess, I guess I don't fault them from doing it. I mean, that's they God. You know what I mean? They God is doing what he does for them. You know what I mean? Like people in the future, they gonna look at us like that. Like we gonna be praising Yahuwah. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be doing certain things and they gonna be looking like y'all do that. You know what I'm saying? We gonna be running the world. So I guess.
Exactly. Another side to the story is the story that was told about the goat, and I know that's definitely part. They didn't even talk about it in that video. They kind of left that out. They just talked about it a little, but it's just story, and it's something that's actually accessible.
But you heard what he said. You heard him. You heard him speak on that NW. Then he said something else. But if you ask me, that's what the W is replaced. You know what I'm saying? And thus we have the NWO, which is the New World Order. You know what I mean? Which represents the whole order of Satan.
Right.
Exactly. So order.
So it makes it like the information that that the commentator was bringing up, that made a whole lot of sense to me.
Right.
I mean, but see, for those that's not studied up, a lot of brothers and like a lot of sisters are nowadays, they won't grasp that. They think it's pseudo.
Right. That's right. They'll just dismiss it.
Right.
See what it's about. Yeah, so a lot of people are disingenuous in their search. Sometimes they will know it and they won't admit it. You know, I mean, like the subject. I mean, the real subject is Krateropoa, Pigpen, Cipher, and cryptography. So why have we not heard about Krateropoa? That's the Dr. Ben talk about 360 degrees and the craft of Amen Ra. That's Krateropoa.
Well, they can't have those particular type of conversations with people like me and you because we didn't take the oath with them.
There you go.
So for them to have a conversation like that with us, they'll be going against their oath that they took, that they nervous about. And see, that's the difference between us and them. We don't have to do nothing and hold no secrets. What we do is for the world.
That's right.
If the world follow after us, you know what I'm saying? Man, they'll be blessed like we will. So according to them, if you follow after them in secrecy, you'll be blessed. But at the end of the day, you still won't know shit because you ain't at the top. So those that's below don't know what the top is doing. But see, and with us, we know what the Most High doing all day long. So he tell us. He don't sugarcoat nothing. He ain't hiding nothing. What the top know, the bottom know.
Right.
Right. I think that's related to what the Mashiach was saying. When freely you receive, freely you give. I used to always kind of think that was talking about money, but I'm starting to sway towards like this secret stuff because everybody got a lot of secrets. You know what I mean? Like, you know, those people, in a sense, they're invoking their God, but then they keep us from invoking ours. You know, about the Sabbath, and they don't tell us about anything where, you know, we'll be in tune with our God or our right holidays and things like that. You know what I mean? But they doing they stuff all the while.
That's right.
Have you noticed we're the only nation of people that they have a problem with when it comes down to we understanding our creator and our power? They have not taken nobody else's power and tried to flip it and change it from really what it is. They might have gave it a different name. They might have gave it a different name to fit their language, but when it come down to it, it's still that individual, it's still that character.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
Hey. Give me a second, Joe, while I set up. Greetings, Green Soul Sufi. Oh, got a Sufi in the building.
How you guys doing?
Good. It's good.
All right.
So we just
pop by and just see what the scuttlebutt's about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we're gonna do some research into Giovanni Pico della Mirandola.
Name sounds familiar.
Very, very popular name. Has a lot of quotes that a lot of people have requoted.
Oh, cool.
Quoted. He lived in 1463 to 1494. Is in fact, let me make sure the screen is shared so you can also see it. Yeah, there we go. All right. Blow it up so everyone else can see it too. Hopefully it'll work with me. It looks like it is. All right. All right, here we go. All right, it is after Marsilio Ficino, the best known philosopher of the Renaissance. His oration on the dignity of man is better known than any other philosophical text of the 15th century. Hold on.
You sure mute your mic. You got some background joints.
This. Okay. Pico was also remarkable, original, indeed, idiocentric, The deliberately esoteric and aggressively recondite character of his thought may help explain why Renaissance philosophy has had so small a place until recently in the canonical history of the discipline as accepted by Anglophone philosophers, or Anglophone. We deal with his, got his life, his work and reputation, his bibliography, the primary literature, bibliographies, secondary literature, and the academic tools, other internet resources related. And this is a Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy site. We want to talk about this. What's the source or whatever? Well, we don't have to go on to that. We need to see what was written, what he published that is connected to the Qabala.
Can you send me a link to that article?
Sending it right now. I put it in the back chat. Perfect. All right. Yeah, man, if you find something other than this that has some more information, feel free to express it. But I see that we will have to read his life, but I want to focus on the important part. So, you know, all the personal stuff we don't really need to go over. So here we go. Let's see. Interesting. Probably why. Okay, what time the fuck? Well, let's get down to important stuff. Connected to the Qabala. You see it before me, please point it out. Okay, so it's tied into de verbo mirifico. If you speak Latin, you'll be familiar with what that means. A rough translation says on the wonders of working words. So we were trying to get down to the bottom of this.
May I ask, what is the purpose of this particular person? I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is connected to the Pigpen Cipher. This is Pigpen Cipher on trial. And we're ultimately dealing with Ordo, Templi, Orientis, Ormus, the Qabala, and Corpus Hermeticum, and pulling together all of the information that is connected to Pigpen and connected to Krateropoa. And ultimately, it's about Krateropoa, Pigpen, and cryptography. So it's showing the connections and the dots that all these things they're all connected. You know, they're all working together. Some of them you'll find that did this great thing during this period, and that they're the person that helped Napoleon do something, or some just historical events, people that are connected to historical events and played important roles. And the ultimate thing is that Krateropoa is the ancient Egyptian initiatorial system that many people use. Well, whether it be Eurocentric, Arab-centric, Asian-centric, island-centric, Afrocentric, or whatever centric that pertains or claims to be Egyptian, or they want to say that they're their ancestors, or more connected to the subject is a person who claims to be a Kemetic priest or an ancient Egyptian priest. So this is actually showing the origins of the priestlyhood of the rituals that are now practiced since the creation of Krateropoa, which starts in 1750 until 1800, and the initiatorial system and many of the traditions and ceremonies were put together before the Rosetta Stone was found. So we have a lot of questions that need to be asked, and those questions led to, you know, me producing it. So you have to go back. I did 5 videos on Krata Rapoa, showing the connections to it, and the Pigpen cipher is showing the tools used to decipher and create codes. So when it comes to, you know, these languages or these ancient languages that they have found, it was a way of deciphering it. And the way of deciphering it, you find the keys in the Pigpen cipher. If you're familiar with the Freemasonry, the Rosicrucians, and you know, the variations of things that they have created, such as codes and different ways of making codes, putting images on things that you can't see unless you put light to it, or you do some type of chemical. You have to use a type of chemical, pour it on it, create the solution that will bring out the image and something. So all kind of codes, and in the cryptography, you actually will see the machine. Once again, the name of the machine slips my mind. I could easily look it up right now, but slips my mind. But it was used in the movie with Tom Hanks about the Holy Grail. Let's see. It's a tool where you have to decipher it, and it looks similar to a lock when you have to match the numbers up in order to unlock your lock. It's a little machine that in the movie with Tom Hanks, the name of the movie slips my mind as well, but the movie, he deciphers the code, and then he throws it. Now what happens is that once you've deciphered the code and you hit it against something, the ink will break and it will, you know, erase the message. So that means that once you know, translated it, you'd either have to write it down or memorize it, and you know, continue from there. But these are just the tools that were used. They're a variation of tools used for deciphering, and this is also something that has been left out in people who deal with speaking metanetter. You know, now that's pretty much the focus of it. It's just that I chose to use the names of it instead of using a modern name. I wanted to use the exact name so it would be easy for everyone to look these things up and see that, okay, the whole time what Pan-Africans and Afrocentrics have been doing is actually something that comes from Europeans. At the same time, you know, saying, you know, negative things about Europeans when they're following them. It's just, I don't know, oxymoron, I guess. It's oxymoronic, say the least. Trying to think of the other parts of the things to be pointed out, which I really want to express after cryptography, that these challenges have been put out, and there's too much evidence. And the societies that I mentioned, they are still in existence today. They have 501c3s, government ran organizations, and they actually do things and do stuff. They're actually on the History Channel. You know, they're actually Egyptologists that are doing things. And we have Afrocentrics and Pan-Africans that are claiming these things and wear Ankhs and Heru shirts, but do not participate in anything historical dealing with Egypt. You know, at least do something that's historical while you go to Egypt. But that's basically, you know, a summary, a little short summary. I'll feel it wasn't even really a good summary, but that's hopefully to clear it up. You know, the approach of this is to really show what is being practiced. And not only that, it's to show that it is some very satanic type of twist to it, you know, a connection with Aleister Crowley and very other people, you know, names that are being mentioned, that will be mentioned. And well, you know, basically that sums it up.
So the summary here is that this particular person, Giovanni, his philosophy and if you want to call it magic, is all kind of connected towards Egypt.
Yes, yes, connected towards Egypt and Rosicrucians.
Well, first comes Egypt, and then henceforth, I would guess Greece, into Latin, into Renaissance, then modern day.
Right.
You got to go back to ancient Babylonian
that's
magic, and ancient dark Hebraic magic too. So can't forget about that.
You have to study Berosus, also known as Belre Usunu, to get down to the bottom of a lot of it, about the epics of Gilgamesh. And the part about Giovanni Pico della Mirandola is the connection to the Qabala. And from what he did in 1486 was actually the date up here that I'm really trying to get, but I was trying to see if there would be something that gave more information than what is sit here. If you see my screen, I'll cut it down just to go over this part. Pico planned to underwrite a magnificent conference on this theme in Rome early in 1487, and in preparation, he assembled 900 theses from numerous authorities, ancient and medieval. Ancient and medieval, pagan and Christian, Muslim and Jewish. He had these conclusions printed in Rome at the end of 1486, and to introduce them to compose a work of eventually immense fame, the Oration on the Dignity of Man. So basically that's the Oration on Dignity of Man is his connection to Qabala and variations of other things that I'm trying to look for so I can pull them out. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. Okay, since 1486, Pico had a third of the income produced by his family's estates, which along with his Mirandola property, he transferred in 1491 to his nephew, Gianfrancesco, who was to become an important philosopher in his own right and an early voice for the revival of skepticism as an instrument of Christian faith. At this time, however, even after the dust had settled on the provocative conclusions, contemporaries were unsure of the elder Pico's orthodoxy and the Kabbalistic exegesis of Genesis in the Heptapulus. Tame though it is by Pico's earlier standards, could scarcely restore their confidence. Meanwhile, Pico pursued safer philological inquiries, with Poliziano, who received the dedication of a fragment on being and the one in 1492, even though De Ente et Uno was meant as the first installment of the great work that would prove Plato's thought in concord with Aristotle's. Not everyone accepted Pico's position harmoniously. Least of all, Antonio Cittadini is a Pisan professor who was still fighting about with Gianfrancesco Pico 2 years after his uncle's death. Now, the main point was the connection to the Kabbalistic exegesis of Genesis in the Heptapulus. So that's the connection. So what's in the Heptapulus is why he's in my notes. And that's the only connection that I just wanted to share, that this person is connected to the Qabala. Wasn't really trying to go in get too far into this name or this person, but I want to show step by step in anything that has been said or stated in the notes, show the connection. And basically that's like really what we're doing, connecting all the dots so we can see the people who are involved in Pigeon Cipher. But it's also the people involved in Krateropoa, in the orders, Ordo, as well. Oh, any more questions? I love your questions too, man. So, man, fire them away.
Yeah, in terms of the Qabala, my understanding, this is something new within the Jewish tradition. This came maybe a little bit afterwards through the book of the Zohar.
Right. Except for HaZohar. That's right.
Yeah, yeah, and there's, and I talked to several rabbis. There's a lot of them that they're just really, they think almost as heretical in the sense that there's just a bunch of nonsense, and no one could really pinpoint if this person that wrote it was alive during that time. So there's been a lot of debates on that, and the Qabala is actually it's a very complicated piece of literature as far as the Zohar is concerned.
That's right.
There's a lot of things in there that that goes almost in a heretical form, like against it goes against monotheism in general. If you study what is a monotheist, I think in Islam we have a concept called Tawheed. Anything that breaks away from that is just not considered monotheistic. So I think the Zohar actually kind of crosses that line, but yet not a lot of people really understand what it actually means. It's basically what I'm saying. The Zohar is not for everyone.
Sure isn't.
Yeah, it's not for everyone because
it's like one of those eyes of the beholder. The what is it called?
Yeah,
I can't think of the other word. A spinkle in your eye or something like that. You know, because it's splendor. You know, that's what it means. So something that's splendor.
Yeah, exactly. It kind of, the Kabbalah goes into like this new age type of, approach, to the world around them. So it's a very strange. I guess that's why it's so attractive to a lot of people. You hear like celebrities going into Kabbalah and not necessarily Jewish. It's almost like a type of Jewish mysticism, but a lot of the Jews in a lot of circles, it's like they consider this almost nonsense. They try to get away from, traditional Judaism, if you will. But I guess it has some value, and it seems like this guy Giovanni was really into the occult.
Keep your whole family cool.
Oh yes, he was. Heavy into the occult and magic. Once you see magic on the name, that's doesn't completely raise a flag because it's not like
it's interesting, and there's some people who still study it. I try to look at it in a psychological perspective.
Yeah. I look at it as kind of crazy. Well, you look, the Qabala was banned from my house growing up.
Okay.
So my mother, when she completed it, she threw it away and banned it from the house when I was a child. So I didn't get a chance to, dig into the Qabala until I was older. I was in my 20s. So I was like, man, this is something that I could have studied and I completely missed out. And when I got to study it, I found out exactly what you're saying. Like, oh man, I'm wasting my time learning this stuff.
Yeah. I think it goes around in circles. It could have some benefits in the sense of how symbolic and how creative it is. But again, it's not for everyone. And I don't know if that's even meant to be taught in words, if you get what I'm saying.
Hey, that's right. We're gonna give it one last Qabala run because I was digging into this with that approach. But what I wanted to do was hold on to a non-biased approach. I wanted to go over these things and show the connections without putting my input into it. But yeah, I've never really been into believing in Qabala. I always made fun of it too. In fact, there's been many people that were Kabbalistic, and I immediately it was almost at war. Like, man, you know how satanic that book is, So hey, but I wanted to read this on Johannes Reuchlin, and he's the one that's actually connected and supposedly the one who wrote De Verbo Mirifico on the wonders of words. And this is an input. Let me find my book. Hold on. Also, I have the book called The Element Encyclopedia of Secret Societies from A to Z. So after I finish, Kratopoa, Pigpen, Cipher, and cryptography, I'm going to create a series where I read from A to Z out of this book and just share it with the family, show the page, then read it. So, everyone can see what I'm reading, also going over it. But of course, I had to dig into this book and pull out stuff already. So a couple of letters, at least there'll be a few things that many will be familiar with when it starts. Let me find this page real quick. Okay. There you go. First letter on the C's. Let me find this name. Okay, on page 109 of the Element Encyclopedia of Secret Societies, you find the Qabala. Now, let me find the year. Give me one moment. And there's a lot of other names, but I left many other names. Okay, here we go. They go to Giovanni part. Now, in this book, this is what it says about Giovanni. Before we get to Johannes Reuchlin, in 1486, the Italian Hermetic philosopher and magician Giovanni Pico della Mirandola learned about the Qabala from a Jewish friend and shocked intellectuals across Europe by proclaiming that no science can be better convince us of the divinity of Jesus Christ than magic and the Qabala. Very interesting statement there. By the time Pico died in 1494, the German scholar Johannes Reuchlin had published De Verbo Mirifico on the wonder working words, or the wonders of working words. And the first published introduction to Christianity Qabala in 1533, Hermeticus Cornelius Agrippa. Now watch this. Hey, you see what I just read right now is, and let me show my screen. Hold on, y'all. Like I be saying, people got to show and prove. All right, let me make sure. Get it good. Where's it at? Okay. Can y'all make that out?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. Perfect. Now, the name after Johannes Reuchlin, which we're going to go over his name first, De Verbo Mirifico, on the wonder working words, very interesting. The first published introduction to Christianity, Qabala, in 1533, Hermeticus Cornelius Agrippa. Now, guess what happens when I go back to Pigpen Cipher? All right, so let's get back in the screen share and see what we find in Pigpen Cipher, which we read yesterday. In fact, let me pull up a new one. One moment, y'all. One moment. Okay. Oh man, it's loading slow. Apologies for the technology disruption. It's a little windy out here in California. Is it windy where you're at?
Not that bad. It's let's see how many degrees. I it's funny because I prefer the cold weather. I don't mind it.
I love it. It makes it cool and crisp.
60. So it's pretty good out there.
All right. Now, because I mean, okay, let me share this. Can you see my screen?
Correct.
Awesome. Okay, let me go to percent to everyone. Okay. Now here is something that I upset many in the Kemetic community. They are very, very upset with me because of this right here. This right here is so harmful. A Wikipedia free encyclopedia article has completely ticked off the Kemetic community. And I'm not talking about just the little ones. I'm talking about the elders. Even the elders don't want me showing this. Well, sorry. Needs to get out. Now, we went over this, but I want to go over it again with our new guest. The Pigpen Cipher, alternately referred to as the Masonic Cipher, Napoleon Cipher, and Tic-Tac-Toe Cipher, is a geometric simple substitution cipher which exchanges letters for symbols, which are fragments of a grid. The example key shows one way the letters can be assigned to the grid. Now, the security part basically talks about the monoalphabetic substitution. When I go into well, anyway, that's further down the road. Can't wait to talk about that. Okay. What happens in Pigpen Cipher, when I go to history, the very first name that I see is Cornelius Agrippa. Very interesting in this book under Qabala that we see Qabala here on the Wikipedia article connected to Pigpen Cipher in some way. But let's see what it actually says, and let's see how it has any form of connection. Okay, so yesterday we went over it, so let's go over this again. That Cornelius Agrippa described an early form of the Rosicrucian cipher, and that is also the dot that was connected to Crateropoa, because Crateropoa is a Rosicrucian ritual and initiation system. So the Rosicrucian cipher, which he attributes to an existing Kabbalistic tradition in his 3 books of occult philosophy, first published in 1531. This system called the Qabala of the 9 Chambers. Very interesting that by later authors used the Hebrew alphabet rather than the Latin alphabet, and was used for creating sigils of spirits rather than for any apparent cryptological purpose. Now, I want to make sure you see this. I wanted to get back to Johannes and go over his information, but we'll be coming back to that and going over that as well. Before we go into another video, I'm going to show another video after we get started on Corpus Hermeticum. Okay. Any questions so far about that?
Kind of reminds me of Supreme Mathematics.
Oh man, that's what's up.
Yeah, the cipher is the number 0.
Hey, we're definitely going to talk about that. You're going to love when I talk about cryptography. You're going to love it. You're going to deal with all that. Cryptography is actually one of my favorite subjects. Crypto analytics. I love it. I mean, even my job now, I'm a clerical assistant, and I have to dig through papers fast as possible, matching up numbers. So even the job I work with, I'm dealing with numbers. I have to handle the bills, I have to handle the POs, and all that type of stuff. So, even my job, I'm dealing with it. Man, I love cryptography. I love it. So, let me not express it like that, because people like, man, he's probably getting off on numbers or something weird like that. Nah, I don't have a number fetish. It's just that I love finding out things. I love getting down to the bottom of things, the origin, as much as I can. And that's why I deal with empirical data or empirical information, because I like to get down to the bottom of it. But before I go back to Johannes, there's a word that I have been saying, and many have not really, asked a question about it. And it's a very, very interesting word. Okay, this is a word that Pigpen Cipher slides in. Many people won't even look this up, but look what it's showing. On the right image, as you see. Let me get Star Report's head out the way. About here. Okay, as you see, Qabala's listic type system, but let's see what it says. This is a Latin word, comes from the word sigillium, for seal, and is a symbol used in magic. The term has usually referred to a type of pictorial signature of a demon or other entity in modern usage, especially in the context of chaos magic. It refers to a symbol representation of the magician's desired outcome. Whoa. You know what? If you're heavy into Hollywood and television, if you even mention sigils to any of the directors or anyone, they'll give you a look. Or you say segula, or get into these things. And there's a reason why, showing this, because of what it says. The term sigil derives from the Latin sigillum, or sigillum, meaning seal, though it may also be related to the Hebrew segula, meaning word, action, or item of spiritual effect, a talisman. The current use of the term is derived from Renaissance magic. Boy, I can't. And I was supposed to talk about that on Vortex Media, but I don't know what's going on. So, anyway, Renaissance magic, which was in turn inspired by the magical traditions of antiquity. Boy, oh boy. This is connecting to what was being mentioned earlier. How, no, we got to dig deeper. When you get into the Qabala, you have to deal with these things. So you have to dig into sigil. Now, I just wanted to, show it, because you see this next paragraph. So I can't wait till we come back to this. And we'll be going in on that before we get to the Corpus Hermeticum. But let's get into these names. Let's bust them. Where is he at? And we'll come back to that. I'm going to do that after the video. So, okay. Again, let's see what's most important here. It's too small. I want everyone to be able to read it. And dude, it's doing that. All right, I might not be able to do that to this one. Oh, okay. We good. Blew up everything. Okay, Johannes Reuchlin, or Reuchlin. I'm not going to read off the dates and the numbers and all that type of stuff. Hold on, y'all having some malfunctions. And I'm also having a little internet issue because of how windy it is right now down here in Southern California. Man, winds are really blowing. The palm trees are bending. Did not expect it, but okay. Why am I in this? Check and see in the chat. Oh man, once again, gotta give some honorable admirations. Honorable admiration to the 5,000 elite, Aboriginal movement, Don't want to leave out anything. Hold on, y'all. And the Vortex Media family. No, I left out something, but hold on, y'all. Let me. Don't want to leave out anything. Hold on, y'all.
I'm sorry. I'll if you guys are still on a little later, I'll come back, but I have to get going.
All right, man. Thank you for coming by, man. And I love the questions. I would love, man, for you to like ask me as many questions as possible.
Oh, no problem. I think I'm pretty good at that. I'm pretty good at asking questions.
You know, man, yeah. You're wonderful, wonderful.
All right, man.
Good evening.
All right, you too. Peace.
Peace. All right, here we go. Tribe B was good. Honorable admiration to the chat. Vortex Media. Come on, Lex. What's going on, Lex, dude? Oh, man. Lex, give me a call, man. We do a show, man. I was supposed to do some of this stuff on your channel. Supposed to do it, well, not this stuff. Yesterday was some of the stuff from Tuesday. But let me know what's going on, man. Maybe able to rock next Tuesday. I would love to. Anyway, let me check it out. Honorable admiration to everyone up in the chat. Mark Falk, you already know who that is. Wazoo, he's on here on the channel with us, on the panel. We got Root Words and Doug. I need to put it out. Got to get Root Words in and go in on words. I'm gonna love that. This is definitely I want to pull Root Words. I want to pull you in when I do a deal with cryptography. Cryptography, man, it's gonna get deep. It's gonna get very, very complicated, and I'm gonna simplify a lot of complicated things for the family, man. You'll be able to teach your 3 and 4 year olds these things when we're finished. Okay. Let's beginning. Oh man, sorry for having that happen to you, brother Doug. The road Sigfusan. Yes, that's right. Search for CERN. And brother Vortex Media. Not going to repeat what you posted, but yeah, exactly. Anyway, Jeremy 4405. That's right. Our brother will tell you anytime the planet is flat. All right. You know, I had to do that old school like I used to back in my blog talk days. Any questions before we go on? I know it's just me and you in here. I know our Hebrew Israelite brothers, man, y'all need to dig into this information. Man, I don't know. Anyone must have fell out, stepped away, but let's continue. Ooh, where am I? Okay, now I found out why everything was messing up. Okay. All right, everyone, thanks for being patient. Finally up. Okay. He was a Johannes Reuchlin. He was a German humanist, political counselor and classics scholar whose defense of Hebrew literature helped awaken liberal interests in the years immediately preceding the Reformation. Reuchlin studied at various universities, specializing in Greek and publishing a Latin lexicon in 1475 and 1476. He then switched to law, obtaining his degree in 1481, and he held court and judicial posts in Württemberg and its capital, Stuttgart, from the 1480s until 1512. Reuchlin was a pioneer in the scientific study of classical Greek and translated many classical texts. Now, if you notice that I'm reading his work, and I really did not read too much of Giovanni Pico della Mirandola. Oh, it's a reason, and we'll come back to that, dealing in Corpus Hermeticum. Aha. Yeah, so in the 1940s, he became interested in Hebrew, and in 1506, there appeared his celebrated De Rudimentis Habliaxis, or Habliakis. De Rudimentis Habliakis, on the fundamentals of Hebrew. Again, it was my old co-host from a blog talk show, Omoshongo, who participated in the Passover in 2015, I believe, with the Hebrew Israelites, and he showed and proved that the biblical archaeologists put the hieroglyphic stuff together, the meta netter and the stories, and that it was Hebrew that was used after all critics were silenced. And now we see a little deeper has been dug, and the hole has gotten so deep that if you try and crawl out of it, well, let's just say you can't get out of this hole, Hermetic community. And this is why Pigpen Cipher is on trial. So a grammar and lexicon that was of great importance in promoting the scientific study of Hebrew and hence of the Old Testament in its original language. When the Dominicans of Cologne, led by Johannes Pfefferkorn, succeeded in getting Emperor Maximilian I, well, they give Max a hard time, don't they, to order 1509 the destruction of Hebrew books as hostile to Christianity. Gotta say it again. The destruction of Hebrew books as hostile to Christianity. Reuchlin defended the study and preservation of Hebrew literature. The Dominican Inquisitor Jacob Hochstraten began procedures against Reuchlin himself in 1513, and in response, Reuchlin appealed to none other than Pope Leo X. As the dispute went on, the entire European liberal and humanist community aligned itself on Reuchlin's side against the Dominicans. And in 1516, a papal commission acquitted Reuchlin of heresy. The controversial occasioned the Epistolae Obscurorum Vicorum. 1515, Letters of the Obscure Men, a satirical pamphlet by young humanists that miraculously ridiculed late scholasticism as represented by the Dominicans. But interest in the controversy was soon displaced by the shift of public attention to Martin Luther and his clash with the Roman Catholic Church. Now, isn't that very interesting that all this is connected to this one man, Johannes Reuchlin, who just so happens to be connected to the Qabala, who also so happens to be connected to Hermeticus Cornelius Agrippa, who we're going to deal with right now. And we'll look through the Wikipedia article on him. I've already shown and proved that I can dig, and like I said, it gets worse when I step away from Wikipedia. And I usually... Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Okay, Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa. His name is actually Heinrich Cornelius Agrippa von Nettersheim. Almost sounds like Netter. All right, we don't need to see that. We got it. You know about Erasmus. Okay, so here it is. He was a German polymath, physician, legal scholar, soldier, theologian, and occult writer. All right, let's see where it's at. Let's get down to it. Oh yeah, I'm passing up a lot of information right here. I'm about to go back up there and read it. Oh, we're gonna have to deal with this. You know, and this is what I was saying. And I asked people who challenged me on Krateropoa, can you tell me where Krateropoa came from? And we can have a discussion about it. We're not going to have a debate. I only debate with people who have decades plus, you know, behind them dealing with this stuff. So, and really, I don't debate. So anyone with a decade behind it, it's not a debate. It's a discussion, a gathering and sharing of information that one can come together and hopefully apply it to one's life. There will be nothing applicable coming out of a debate about Pigpen Cipher. All we can do is go over the information and present it to the world. Now, if one wants to create their own dissertation and hypothesis, by all means, I am not stopping. Please publish it, put it out. Let's deal with it. But what we have here is a lot of very, very, very interesting information. I just wanted to show the family all this before I read some things out of this. There we go. Agrippa is perhaps best known for his books, An Incomplete List. De Incertitudine et Vanitate Scientiarum atque artium declamatio invectiva. That's the declamation attacking the uncertainty and vanity of the sciences and the arts. I want to give a little extra credit right here. I want people to catch on to something. Has anyone ever noticed that a lot of the Latin words pretty much sound like our English words? Can't wait to have root words on here when I do cryptography. It's very, very interesting. Look, let's look at it. Plain as day. All right, so it was printed in Cologne in 1527, a skeptical satire of the sad state of science. This book, a significant production of the revival of Pharaonic skepticism in its fideist mode, was to have a significant impact on such thinkers and writers as Montaigne, Descartes, and none other than Goethe. But guess what it says after that? Citation needed. We have a problem here. So, Exclamatio de nobilitate et praeselentia foeminae, there we go, foeminae sexus, declamation on the nobility and preeminence of the female sex, 1527. A book pronouncing the theological and moral superiority of women, edition with English translation, London, 1670. Now, we're really looking for one book, but I just wanted to let everyone know about this person that's tied into Pigpen Cipher, and it just so happens that he's talking about stuff that is connected to Krateropoa. I'm talking about he published stuff connected to Krateropoa, the Qabala, that we can also tie into Ormus and Corpus Hermeticum, all in this person's name, and he's smack dab in the forefront of Pigpen Cipher. Let's do it. Now I know why when I put this information out and I called out 4 people's names, they had no rebuttal. So they're being told to stand down to the Aboriginals. They really need to stand down to this. Well, actually, he's already stood down to this. Nobody wants to challenge it, or maybe it's the fact nobody wants to deal with this. Who has the time anyway? You know, hey. So here we go again. De Occulta Philosophia Libre 3. 3 books concerning occult philosophy. Book 1 printed Paris 1531. Book 2 to 3 in Cologne 1533. This Summa of Occult and Magical Thought, Agrippa's most important work in a number of respects, sought a solution to the skepticism proposed in De Vanitate. In short, Agrippa argued for a synthetic vision of magic whereby the natural world combined with the celestial and the divine through Neoplatonic participation, such that ordinarily licit natural magic was in fact validated by a kind of demonic magic, really sourced ultimately from God. What are they saying there? Interesting. By this means, Agrippa proposed a magic that could resolve all epistemological problems raised by skepticism and a total validation of Christian faith. One example of the text, not especially indicative of its broader contents, is Agrippa's analysis of herbal treatments for malaria in numeric terms. I would read that right there, but citation needed. That means it's questionable. Let me see citation needed, question it. Find out. Look at these citations that are needed right here. Look, the book was a major influence on such later magical thinkers as Giordano Bruno and John Dee. Interesting. But was ill understood. Really? Citation needed for both of that? Okay. After the decline of the occult Renaissance, see, man, out of the Renaissance into the Royal Society, slowly but surely, about to merge it all back in. Can't wait till I get back to that. So the concomitant with the scientific revolution, the book, whose early draft, quite different from the final form, circulated in manuscript long before it was published, is often cited in discussions of Albrecht Dürer's. And guess what Albrecht Dürer is involved in? None other than publishing history hieroglyphica. That's right. Famous engravings, melancholia. What we dealing with? We dealing with it now. We dealing with it. It's all connected now, all tied in. So note the philosophy of natural magic, complete work on natural magic, white and black magic, 1569. Well, they do the ISBN up there. It's simply book 1 of De Occulta Philosophia Libre 3. Excuse me for my messing up on my Latin tonight. So a spurious 4th book of occult philosophy, sometimes called of magical ceremonies, has also been attributed to him. This book first appeared in Marburg in 1559 and is not believed to have been written by Agrippa. A semi-complete collection of his writings were also printed in Lyon in 1550. Arguably more complete editions followed, but none is without serious textual problems. Well, boy, then it deals with the modern editions, and we won't be dealing with the modern editions. He's also involved in popular culture. And it's very interesting that a lot of these images and names that are popping up here, a majority of them are involved in publishing history hieroglyphic. You know, I'll show that another day. As much as this catches a lot of people off guard, I really do not feel that a lot of people are ready to dig into a lot of certain things because some of the stuff, you're really looking up people who were heavy into Satan worship and devil worship and Luciferian stuff, you know. Well, boy, so let's get back to Krata-Rapua. Excuse me, not Krata-Rapua. Pigpen, Cipher. Okay. What's the other stuff? Where am I at? Okay. Now, that pretty much ends the Qabala part of this. The Corpus Hermeticum is what we're going to deal with now. Let's see. Chat. In the chat, if you have any questions, post them. Feel free. Hold on, it's the wrong video. Apologies, y'all. Okay, so, apologies, y'all. Vortex said, come back, Vortex. Come on, brother, come back. Let's get into the Renaissance magic. What? Tribe BAB funny. That's right. Peace, brother. Peace, brother. Oh, man. Look. Got me laughing too hard. You know what's interesting? Brother Lex Vortex, he has a lot of knowledge about the Qabala. And I remember when I'm very challenging. You can ask Lex. If Lex could get in here right now. In fact, I'm gonna force him in here. Force this. I don't know if he's going live on his channel right now. Hold on. Get in here, Lex. Bust out that Qabala knowledge you got in your head. Me and Lex used to go edit over the Qabala information. That was good times, man. That was some good times, and I had a bias for it at that time. Lex helped me not have a bias for it. Gotta give the brother credit for that. In fact, it was me, Lex, and Kansu that had some in-depth conversations about the Qabala. If I could find them. Where you at, Lex? Get up in here. You need to call me anyway, man. Let me know what's going on with Tuesday. Hold on, y'all. Apologies, man. Apologies. I'll get right back to it, y'all. Brother Yashar. Hold on. I'll send them that too. That's something to look at. Lex has some time. Hop in. I really appreciate it. Okay. Let's get back to work. Where we at? Okay. No, I was not there. All right, Corpus Hermeticum. Okay, let's pull it up. Now, in the Corpus Hermeticum, you have hieroglyphica of Hor Apollo, which is a direct connection to publishing history hieroglyphica. And it's so interesting. I used to ask people, well, what's up with publishing history hieroglyphica? 1505 AD. How come we have over 20 published encyclopedias and dictionaries of hieroglyphs? How did this exist? Why do we have this? Why is it here? Why aren't they putting letters to them? Why are they putting stories to them? Why are they showing us these symbols of the Ankh looking this way? Man, I received no answers. Everyone just runs. Oh, don't listen to him. Don't listen to him. And I'll put it like this. In Pasadena, California, if you find anybody who in the year 1991, 1992, they went to elementary school with me, they will tell you this. In our school, our elementary school, that's why when I say, man, it's elementary, like that's when you're going to see somebody get their feelings hurt. Not like, well, anyway. In 5th grade, we learned ancient Roman history. We learned the Roman history and stuff. And that was like the main thing. We all had to do reports on them. Okay. In 6th grade, it was Greek. So at the ages of 10 and 11, I learned a lot of these things. Now they weren't important, so it's not like I remembered everything, but I learned a whole lot, man. And I'll say it like this. I learned a whole lot of things before my balls dropped. Pardon my language, but before my balls dropped, I was still wet behind my ears. Learning this stuff, man, trying to get an A on the report. And I didn't like it. I'll be honest. I didn't like it. I had to learn all these names and learn Greek and learn all this stuff, these names in Latin, and learn the whole Roman stories and finding all the little wars and perversion and stuff. They kind of intrigued me. Because anybody watching football or wrestling or any of that type of stuff, and you hear some gladiator type of stuff, it becomes interesting, All right, why are you doing that? Okay, so we have here on sacred text. Now, sacred text is no better than Wikipedia, to be honest, but you know what? Do I want to use it? Because it's pretty much the same thing as Wikipedia. Oh, well. So, Corpus Hermeticum are the core documents of the Hermetic tradition, dating from early in the Christian era. They were mistakenly dated to a much earlier period by church officials. Let me upload this up for y'all. There we go. Excuse me. Okay. And everyone else. Up until the 15th century, because of this, they were allowed to survive and we seen as an early precursor of what was to be Christianity. We know today that there were, in fact, from the early Christian era and came out of the turbulent religious seas of the Hellenic Egypt. There it is. But that's Corpus Hermeticum, so of course you're going to hear Egypt, but Hellenic Egypt and the Christian era, which brings us right back to Ormus. It's connecting these dots. These are all taken from Miet's translations, which are in the public domain at this point. Here we go, an introduction. John Michael Greer. Now, I want you to take a look at my camera. Let's stop this real quick. Take a look at my camera. Where we at? Okay. Guess who wrote this book I have right here? John Michael Greer. All right. Guess that was my little moment of grandeur. And moment gone. Okay, so introduction to the Corpus Hermeticum. This is giving his whole introduction to it. Let's see what we're talking about. Okay, all right, that sounds good. All right, okay. Now, Interesting. All right, y'all read a little faster than everyone. Real fast. Okay. Interesting. All right, let's get it up to the top. Yeah, I have one of those weird eye abilities where I look at the whole paragraph and it's like my mind picks out all the words that I'm familiar with and all the words that are not familiar. So I pull names. I could look at a paragraph and pull names and dates out in a matter of 2 seconds. I don't know. It's a weird ability that I've had. No matter which way the direction it is going, I'll pull it out. Anyway, the 15 tractates of the Corpus Hermeticum, along with the perfect sermon of Asclepius, and the foundation documents of the Hermetic tradition, written by unknown authors in Egypt sometime before the end of the 3rd century CE, they were part of a once substantial literature attributed to the mythic figures of Hermes Trismegistus, a Hellenistic fusion of the Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth. Now, get this. I have those 3 names in my head. One of them just happens to be the name that we'll be talking about next. The other 2 names, I have always kept those names hidden and used to dangle them in the faces of Pan-African, Afrocentric, Kemetic community people or whatever, our brothers and sisters that are lost following the Kemetic stuff. I would dangle those, like, you can't tell me who those 3 people are. Well, anyway, this literature came out of the same religious and philosophical ferment that produced Neoplatonism, or Platonism. Christianity and the diverse collection of teachings usually lumped together under the label Gnosticism or Gnosticisms, a ferment which had its roots in the impact of Platonic thought on the older traditions of the Hellenized East. There are obvious connections to common themes linking each of these traditions, although each had its own answer to the major questions of time. So maybe this is why, and yeah, I'm digging into stuff like this. I'm digging into the people in the conscious community's chest again because they bow down to this information. So I have to dig into the chest again, but in a respectful manner, not like how I did last year. Many apologies I had to give out for the way I was last year with a lot of people, but this year is different. So I'm going to do it with a care for the person who I'm talking to. Okay. Now, well, you know what? Oh, you forget it. Okay, so we have to really dig deep into this stuff, okay? So I'm not even going to say it. We're just going to continue on. The treaties we now call the Corpus Hermeticum were collected into a single volume in Byzantine times, and a copy of this volume survived to come into the hands of Lorenzo de Medici's agents in the 15th century. Marsilio Ficino. See how in Corpus Hermeticum we have officially connected Corpus Hermeticum to the Qabala. How? Through Marsilio Ficino. Why? Well, let's read. The head of the Florentine Academy was pulled off the task of translating the dialogues of Plato in order to put the Corpus Hermeticum into Latin first. His translation saw print in 1463 and was reprinted at least 22 times over the next century and a half. By who? That's by the Aldus Manutius, the Aldus printing press. But anyway, let's go on. The treaties divide up into several groups. The first, CH1 or CHI, the Pomandres, in the account of the revelation given to Hermes Trismegistus or Trismegistus by the being Poemandres or man shepherd, an expression of the universal mind. The next 8 CH to the what's that, 6? No, that's what's that, 9? Man, I'm messing up on my Roman numerals. Bear with me, y'all. Keep forgetting the I in front of the X's. Okay, well, anyway. The general sermons, well, obviously the next 8, so that's what, to the 10. Okay, anyway. The general sermons are short dialogues of lectures discussing various basic points of Hermetic philosophy. There follows the key, CH10, or chapter 10, a summary of the general sermons, and after this, a set of 4 tractates. Mind unto Hermes, about the common mind, the sacred sermon of the mountain, and the letter of Hermes to Asclepius. Now, if you talk to someone that speaks the Zulu language, and you say this, the Asclepius, they'll sit there and say, you know, that kind of sounds like one of our words. Well, anyway, touching on the more mystical aspects of Hermeticism, the collection is rounded off by the definitions of Asclepius unto King Amun, chapter 15, which may be composed of 3 fragments of longer works. You see the 3 come up again. The perfect sermon of Asclepius, which is also included here, reached the Renaissance by a different route. It was translated into Latin in ancient times, reputedly by the same Lucius Apuleius of Madaura, whose comic serious masterpiece, The Golden Ass. I've shared this information with people so much already. It's like not, it doesn't even appeal to me anymore. But provides some of the best surviving evidence on the worship of Isis in the Roman world. Augustine of Hippo quotes from the Old Latin translation at length in his City of God, and copies remained in circulation in medieval Europe all the way up to the Renaissance. The original Greek version was lost. Empirical, where you at? Although quotations survive in several ancient sources, the perfect sermon is substantially longer than any other surviving work of ancient Hermetic philosophy. It covers topics which also occur in the Corpus Hermeticum, but touches on several other issues as well. Among the magical processes, we have just stepped into the Rosicrucian Qabala and all the way back to Ormus with this magical process for the manufacture of gods and a long and gloomy prophecy of the decline of the Hermetic wisdom and the end of the world. Really? The significance of the Hermetic writings, the Corpus Hermeticum, landed like a well-aimed bomb amid the philosophical system of late medieval Europe. Quotations from the Hermetic literature in the church fathers, who were never shy of learning of pagan sources to prove a point, accepted a traditional chronology which dated Hermes Trismegistus as a historical figure to the time of Moses. What? As a result, the Hermetic tractates, borrowings from Jewish scripture and Platonic philosophy, were seen in the Renaissance as evidence the Corpus Hermeticum had anticipated and influenced both. The Hermetic philosophy was seen as a primordial wisdom tradition identified with the wisdom of the Egyptians, mentioned in Exodus and lauded in Platonic dialogues such as the Timaeus. It thus served as a useful club in the hands of intellectual rebels who sought to break the stranglehold of Aristotelian scholasticism on the universities at this time. Wow. Do you believe in magic? It also provided one of the most important weapons to another major rebellion of the age, the attempt to re-establish magic as a socially accepted spiritual path in the Christian West. And I wonder who they use. Could it have been the Order of the Golden and Rosy Cross? Interesting. Well, what I want to do is, before I continue, because I was actually supposed to show the video first, I want to show a video. In fact, I have a video where I talk about the brachiocephalic heads, and it's the brachiocephalic skulls, and it's the cephalocephalic skulls. And it was showing that you have these people with these skull shapes and the things that I share. I'm not going to go into it right now, but it's very interesting that it doesn't signify the color of a person. So a brachiocephalic person could have much melanin as anyone else. But very interesting, the information is when dealing with that person. Of course, I have to save Corpus Hermeticum as it continues on for tomorrow. But before I deal with that, tomorrow, as we go over this, we'll be dealing with the hieroglyphic of Horapollo, pseudo-Egyptian rites and masonry invented during the years, including the Krateropoa, where I have to go back into challenging Krateropoa. In Pigpen Cipher, I run into this issue. Also, we'll be dealing with the Cagliostro's Egyptian rites, the rites of Misraim, the rites of Memphis, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, magic flute, and those involved in the information are Arturo Regahini and Rene Guénon. But what I want to show is the Octagon Society. So we're going to step away from Corpus Hermeticum and save the rest for tomorrow and deal with this. Let me see any questions in the chat. Anybody has some input before we go into the Octagon Society and we close it out? Well, first we'll be starting off with a video about the Octagon Society. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Brother Jeremy, you checked it out. That's right. That's right. It's a very, very, very long ritual. And, I want to know what they're saying when they're doing that chant. I want to know what they're saying. At first I wanted to know the people who were in the crowd, but I suggest that don't do that. Don't even do it. Okay? All right. Not saying like you touch the key, your laptop's going to blow up or your desktop's going to blow up, but don't do it. Let's just say people who prefer not to be known, they like it that way. If you try and make people that don't want to be known, you become their problem. I suggest you do not become their problem. Now, if you want to deal with whatever they're doing, if they're doing something bad and it's something you want to stop, you stop that thing. Stop that specific thing. All right. I could play another video. I could play another video about something, but I don't want my I think they're gonna give me another strike if I cross the line again. So I can't do that. But what we will do is I have to show this information. This information is gonna really start the beginning of the ultimate exposure, where I was going with out of the Renaissance and into the Royal Society by some of my sources that I have. So I might be familiar with the video that I'm about to show. Obviously, I've already shared some information and I've posted videos with the person's voice. He said, yeah, for real. Yeah, exactly. But we're going to dig into this and we're going to deal with the Octagon Society. And once again, I'm busting this information out again. I have to show this man. Chatzeflatz is his name. Okay? Now, let's hop on his channel. He has exposed a lot of information. In fact, he is the source of many. You know, that's why I go directly to his stuff sometimes when I want to deal with the information. Very popular person on channels. If you mention his name to him, that's popular in the communities. He's in the Flat Earth community. His name is Bonacci. I always forget his first name, but Bonacci, had a privilege of chatting with him a couple of times, but Bonacci also has used this person's information and mentioned it, that he's using this person's information. Let's see. What has he got? Let me find his Octagon video. Oh, brother, man, I'm forgetting. Yashur. There you go. That's your name. Yashur Yao. Man, I need to hear that name. Yashur Yao Ya Oshrala. Interesting. Oh, see, brother's muted. He's probably doing something at the moment. But if you are able to hear it and not really interact, this is a video that for a while I did not want to, really put out there because, well, not a video, the channel itself. I didn't want to put it out, showing this. But since I'm exposing the Corpus Hermeticum and the Qabala and Ormus, hey, got it right here. So let me see if I pull it up like this. And I'm trying to find the right one. All right. So my guess is he talks about it the most. Well, let me see if this is.
It's more important to see the future. And therefore, I ask really also the American people and also the British people forget the history. Forget the history.
One of my other videos, I've already told you about the occult around James Bond.
Welcome to Lotus Television.
Author.
Damn, I have to dig in the chest now.
Yet. His mother was Evelyn St. Croix Rosa.
That's right. Hold on.
From Octagon.
You know what?
Rose.
Forget it. I am going to say what I was going to say earlier. Hey, yeah, Reggie, you better warn Jabari, because now what I have, the Aboriginals have too.
Red and croix is the French word for a cross. So Saint Croix Rose or Saint Croix Rose, also known as the Order of the Rosicrucian.
Who better to explain this but the President and the Grand Master of the Rosicrucians, Julie Scott. Julie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mel.
Yeah. Julie, how would you describe the Rosicrucian Order to someone who had never heard of it?
The Rosicrucian Order is a philosophical and educational organization. It's not a religion, and members are all around the world, men and women who study natural laws in order to live in harmony with them.
Mm-hmm. And what do you mean by natural laws?
Well, natural laws are things such as cycles or understanding the growth patterns or understanding how things work in nature so that we can apply it in our own lives.
Means the Holy Red Cross is of the Templars and their base Octagon, Switzerland. So no wonder he rose that quick to the rank of commander in the naval intelligence during the war, as he was already born into a Templars family of Octagon Saint Croix Rose. And de la Croix means of the cross, referring to Switzerland and the Sisters of Isis.
I imagine when people look at Rosicrucian Park, I think the museum is the only museum in the world with Egyptian style.
Also, keep in mind, Where did the place, what was the place that the satanic ritual for CERN in the building of that tunnel, where did it take place? Switzerland. Where is the Hadron Collider particle accelerator at? Switzerland.
Well, architecture?
You see it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. They look at all these strange images and they wonder, what in the world is going on in there? So what is the greatest misunderstanding that people have about the Rosicrucian order?
Well, typically, I think people misunderstand and believe that the Rosicrucian order is a religion, which it is not. We encourage Rosicrucians to participate in whatever religion they choose to or not.
You hear that?
And I think people also misunderstand anything that's called mysterious or mystical because it may seem a little bit spooky or unusual when really, again, these are just natural laws that people can understand and then apply in their lives.
For results, the magician still depends today, as he did thousands of years ago, on methods and techniques.
Living under the Swiss Templars' cross. So the son, Freemasonry, came out of a marriage between the Scottish Rite and Switzerland. In Fleming's grave memorial at Southampton, the Oval, joining the four elements, it's all there. Pharaohs. It says, in April 1930, Aleister Crowley, he moved to Berlin. Exactly the same time when the Prince of Darkness, Bernhard, Ian Fleming, they were all there, plotting, conspiring, plotting against the world.
Ordo, Templi, Orientis. There you go. Orientis.
Nice fella, isn't it? And the things we have in our minds are being confined by the skull, as in skull and bones, you might say. It's also the form and size of the skull that defines the size of the brain and its intellectual capacity, and even tendency for crimes can thus be predicted.
Admittedly, the story you're about to read is bizarre, incredible. Those of you who wish to avoid being unsettled, who wish to avoid thinking, will label it insane.
People in this day and age are brainwashed and programmed like a computer at being nothing more than puppets. This nation, this country is founded in violence. Violent delights tend to have violent ends. Madness is something rare in individuals, but in groups, people, and ages, it is a rule. Killing is killing, whether done for duty, profit, or fun. Men murdered themselves into this democracy.
I think most humans have in them the capacity to commit murder. It is not because they got, Richard. They choose not to, not because they are morally superior, as they so commonly claim, but because they are imprisoned in a web of responsibilities, commitments, beliefs, and secrets. And that would render murder an absurd gamble or ridiculous self-destruction.
The serial killer on San Quentin's death row, known as the Night Stalker, died today at Marin General Hospital. Richard Ramirez.
Tendency for crimes can thus be predicted. And this is why Freemasons, who came out of the Templars, who founded Switzerland, present the skull with square and compass for craniometry, because they know their skull and bones, I repeat, skull and bones, are different from ours.
Oh, Odin's son, you have betrayed the express command of your king. Through your arrogance and stupidity, you opened these peaceful realms and innocent lives to the horror and desolation of war.
Back in the good old days, the National Bank had gladly accepted billions of dollars of my gold, and they have refused to give a single franc of it to Holocaust survivors. These people understand me.
See this gentleman? Oh, can you help me? I'm trying to make... My name is Hitler, Adolf Hitler. Now look,
This gentleman was in and out of here in about 5 minutes.
It's more important to see the future. And therefore, I ask really also the American people and also the British people forget the history.
And there's even an official name for the Swiss skull.
It's brachycephalic, not
cephalic.
Yeah,
cephalic meaning concerning the skull, which is being seen from above, a relatively short and quite round skull, whereas the rest of the Europeans, seen from the top, have long skulls and not round, called dolichocephalic. So this one here, and I'm going to show you this on the cephalic map of Europe in a moment. This is the Swiss brachycephalic skull form, which is only be found in Switzerland in Europe. You're going to see that. This is European, the dolichocephalic or long skulls. So long as being seen from the top, long from here to here. And this is quite short and broader, like here in the back. Well, we've seen aliens like this, haven't we? This is going deep, folks. You better copy it first, download it, because I've got a feeling the Swiss are going to delete it very, very quickly. And then it's gone. So here's a cephalic map, cephalic index of Europe. And here where it's black, you know, it's like a cancer in the middle of Europe, and it is a cancer. There's a high concentration of, for Europe, alien skull forms. Alien as they don't belong to Europe. You can see that. They're not here. They're not here, not even in the south, a little bit in Italy. You know, well, here's Rome. But here's a very high concentration, it says.
That's the big wigs. Now you know why they got them big wigs, huh? Royal Society. Telling you.
The holographic principle tells us something quite astonishing. It says that our ideas of volume, of the real world in a sense, might be a kind of illusion.
We forget about what space is and what time, and then somehow the information, by thinking about how much information is, what information is doing, then the space-time will, what we call, be emergent. It will come out of just a bunch of zeros and ones.
It should be clear that this whole holographic story is the most radical thing that has happened to our understanding of space, time, matter, since the invention of quantum mechanics and relativity.
Now, someone could always
Cryptography is coming, y'all.
Data, but that would be impractical because it would take away our best chance for a theory rectifying relativity in quantum mechanics. Even so, the experimental data cannot be ignored, and the results of quantum mechanics infers the same implications we see in the holographic principle.
Quantum mechanics means it's possible everything we see could really be produced by lines of code inside a powerful computer.
Andrei hoped to bring the curtain down on the Rosicrucian furor by turning the joke on its head.
That's the face they worship right there.
Andrei envisions a scene where a number of his contemporaries, following certain indices, go in search of and eventually discover a secret vault. In an almost sick parody of The Farmer, the explorers break down a wall. Torches in hand, they enter the darkness. There they discover a sarcophagus with an inscription upon it.
Now, in the middle of this tomb, we have our sarcophagus. Now, this type of sarcophagus would have been reserved for the pharaoh, someone who received it as a gift from the pharaoh, or for the Apis bull. And as you can see, they're very large, and they wouldn't have been buried because they didn't think that tomb robbers would be able to get into them as easily. But as you can see, they've gotten in.
Mea tempora, my times. With great difficulty, they heave the tomb open. The contents of my times are shocking. Inside the sarcophagus lies a cadaver. Unlike the pure flesh of Christian Rosenkreuz, this body is horribly mutilated, flesh consumed.
I think the theme of what we just saw was immortality of the soul. I've had two guests on this show who have had near-death experiences. And I've read a little bit about the Egyptian view of life and death. And the ka, I can't remember what's the ka or the ba that leaves the body. And it is able to go through solid substances, and it's able to turn back and look at the image of itself. I just find that tremendously interesting that there are people today who have the actual experience that the Egyptians seem to have had. And yet it takes a brush with death to experience that. How are the Egyptians aware of this phenomena, that the soul is eternal?
Well, that's a subject that a lot of people are very interested in and presenting different perspectives on. For some Egyptologists, they really don't give the ancient Egyptians a lot of credit for the complexity of their belief system. However, there are many today that are seeing the similarities with the shamanic tradition and the understanding of going to another plane of consciousness or another plane of awareness and returning with the ability to communicate just beyond what's in our local area to heal.
To see into the future or to go on dream journeys, to learn about higher universal knowledge.
They succeed in uncovering a beautiful bronze plaque by the cadaver's rotting head. I, the truth, daughter of God, assassinated by the duplicity of Satan, by the corruption of the world, by the feebleness of the flesh, by the despotism of tyranny. The stupidity of the people. I rest here within the mud of the lie. In 100 years, the sun will see me again. Greetings, O posterity.
The same thing can be said about the Nazis' exfiltration to Argentina. When Mengele, Eichmann, Pigpen, all here on the picture, and thousands of others went there, then Adolf most likely took the same route as his evil comrades did. Hitler got finance from 1923 on in Zurich. Here we can see him in Zurich.
Because of being the headquarters of a number of different humanitarian institutions, Geneva's become known as a city of peace. It's also the birthplace of the International Committee of the Red Cross, and the museum here celebrates the Red Cross's principles.
State-of-the-art museographics weave together an unforgettable display of the work of the Red Cross during some of the world's gravest times. One striking area has an index of 7 million file cards that document some 2 million prisoners held in camps in World War I.
By the way, I'm showing this because of Corpus or Hermeticum. Excuse me.
What you're doing down there is wrong.
Frankly, right now, I don't care.
These people are not some random group of colonists. They're a unique culture with a history that predates the Federation and Starfleet.
That does not alter the fact that my orders
I know Admiral Nechayev gave you an order.
I'm ordering you to the Goran system.
And she was given an order from the Federation Council.
I'm acting on orders from the Federation Council.
But it's still wrong.
Count one, that all of the defendants participated as organizers or accomplices in a common plan or conspiracy to commit crimes against humanity. The wrongs which we seek to condemn and punish have been so calculated, so malignant and so devastating that civilization cannot tolerate their being ignored.
Okay. All right.
Hey, what's up, my friend Calic and I here.
Yeah,
In a moment, I'm gonna.
Yeah, we're not trying to hear that, buddy. Okay, so next video, you're going to hear a little more. Now, let me read the Octagon Society before we get into this video. Yeah, let me leave that up. And I'll be closing out after we see the portion of this video until he talks about the Octagon. It was already mentioned by Chatzefatz, in the video we just watched. But let's look up the society and see. All right. Look at what we have here. Let's see what the Octagon Society. As said, we'll be dealing with all of the orders. But before we do, we deal with the Octagon Society and Opus Dei. I'm going to save Opus Dei for tomorrow. Then you might know a little bit about it. But we'll dig into all these things as we go over Corpus Hermeticum. As the video you just watched is connected both to the Octagon Society and is connected to the Corpus Hermeticum. Okay. The Octagon Society was an organization that provided errant spacefarers with assistance. So what is this? Is this must be something else. Yeah, hold on. Let me see. I don't know what this is. It's going to be one of those things where they give me a hard time on getting to it. Because this looks like something I don't trust already. But let me see what else there is on it. Again, we're going to pull something out of Octagon Society. Then go back in. Okay. Yeah, I already know it's connected to the Royal Society, but I need to pull out the stuff. So I guess I gotta settle for this one. Okay, so sounds a little personal up there. The SOS. Guess I'm gonna have to put it out there like that. See that? There go the videos that's gonna give me. Yeah, see, those are the videos that I was looking for right there. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Damn, it's all right here. It's fine. That's right. See, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. Let's just let's go over this guy. At least it's supposed to be a family member. Let me see. All right, so it's not much. So let's see. And it sounds personal. So I'm not going to read that. Yeah, I see. They're gonna make it difficult. See? Let me find this, y'all. I hate when I have an epic. I need that direct information. It has to be direct. Damn, that's them right there, but for protective reasons, I'm not going to read that. Good on that. Okay, I still have to deal with the video. So, I mean, that's not bad. That means cuts out the reading. There's other ones that are on it, but I need something specific. So, here we go. At Home of the Pharaohs is good.
Since ancient times, the oval has been a symbol for the womb. And apparently, even the little green man in their UFO spaceships know this. And look how there's a circle in the oval, just as on the lawn where the Washington Monument is standing, exactly like that. The obelisk is a phallic symbol, and as it is carved on top, it is the symbol for the circumcision, an old pharaonic tradition for the slaves, and a covenant with Satan or Satan. This is the symbol for the pharaonic warfare. Mix first with the obelisk in the oval, the womb, and fight the enemy from within as a virus, and strike unseen as a horned viper, being the satanic hand. And to do so, they had to take over all key positions in society, like we see here. And they look like us, they talk like us, they speak like us, they behave like us, or almost. We can't recognize them anymore. And the enemy within is very real. They fight us from the inside out. They are the real pharaohs from Egypt, the Ber-Ah. So when Clinton, Monica, and the cigar had that triangle affair going on in the Oval, the enemy within of pharaohs and masons knew exactly what was going on, that the meshes was classical AIHS stuff. And watch ISIS behind. Where cigar played the obelisk and phallic symbol, Clinton for Osiris, Monica for Isis, and the Oval Office for the womb. And the ictus. Go and multiply yourself, the pharaoh and the cigar said, because the carved top is the phallic front, so penetration has indeed succeeded. And for the worldwide royal Ber-Ah community, it felt indeed as being set back 4,000 years ago at the royal court at the River Nile, with all the wonderful stories going on with cigars and such. So here you can see Muslims throwing stones at an obelisk, and the pharaohs, I hope. This is very nice, I like this. But what Mecca, St. Peter's Square, the Vatican, and Washington, America have all in common is the obelisk and the oval, as these pharaohs rule the whole world, all peoples and all races. So this is what the obelisks in the Vatican and in Washington have in common. They both portray the full act of penetration inside the oval. Just as outside on the lawn, the obelisk has penetrated the oval of the Vesica. And even on the Muslim Kaaba, the oval of the mother goddess and probably Isis can be seen in Mecca. Ka is pharaonic for the soul when still alive, and Ba after death, like Kaaba. And when Allah stands beside it, it becomes Qabala, the Qabala. Well, this looks like the hand sign Mrs. Merkel makes, doesn't it? And if you cross Upper Egypt from the pharaohs, from Amarna, and you cross the Red Sea, well, you get in Mecca immediately, which is a harbor town. So, what can I say? So if you see politicians like the German Merkel doing the oval with her hands, then you know where that's from. It's the symbol of the Sisters of Isis, where the name Switzerland is from. See the Pharaoh show. Moreover, considering that Mer or Mer in Merkel is the pharaonic word for pyramid, and Kel used to be Ka, the soul as in Merka or Merkaba, almost like America, where there's a big obelisk in the oval. So let's all unite, mankind. We have no choice. Forget about religion and race issues and get rid of these pharaohs together. So here we see a crop circle showing the Swiss cross. Now, what are these crop circles warning us for? Maybe that the pharaohs have their base in Switzerland. The Washington Monument obelisk, the phallic symbol and symbol of the pharaonic domination, standing within the Vesica, as in the logo of the Olympic Games, MasterCard, Gucci, Coop, Swiss supermarket, Audi cars, etc. This is a Freemasonry symbol, the two circles with the obelisk like in the middle. MasterCard, see the Pharaoh show and the Octagon series for more. Audi, the Illuminati car from Ingolstadt in Germany, where Adam Weishaupt came from, and many, many others. Octagon in Rome with a real obelisk, a real Egyptian pharaonic obelisk in the middle. So this is where the Swiss rule. Octagon.
See, the Octagon Society leaves their print in big, big symbols.
See the Pharaoh show in the Octagon series for more. Octagon, St. Peter's Square, Vatican. This is where the Swiss Pope's guard rules. The Octagon rules here. Octagon and the Nazi Templars from Switzerland rule the US, the UK, and the entire world. And in this video, I will give you some more proof of that.
All right, we'll let it get to 10 minutes first.
You have to watch my previous vids on Octagon. Octagon.
You will.
The Pharaoh show about how Octagon Switzerland financed Adolf Hitler in 1923, and the rest to fully understand the contents of this video. I will not repeat all the previous things I showed you in the Octagon Pharaoh series again every time. So here we can see some US.
Okay, so tomorrow we will watch those videos that are mentioned here. And what I want to read is from the book. So let me do this as we close out. Okay, the book again, you know, just like before, like, oh, guess what? I got it in the book. Okay, the book, no technology. If there's a blackout right now, and they were looking, man, who got the information? Who got the information? It's gonna be books. They don't have what's in this book. I guarantee that. Guarantee that. Okay. See it right here. Octagon Society. Excuse me. An American. That's why I call them French Valley Americans. I'll put it out there. Okay, I'm gonna put it out there now. Let's do it. You know, criticize me about anything, but talk about the information when you deal with me. Okay? So you see, reading from the book, not making this up, showing improvement. Tell me you've done something, you've been somewhere in any form of fashion, show and proof. Or just tell me you've been somewhere. You can't show me you've been somewhere. Okay. An American esoteric order teaching spiritual alchemy, the Octagon Society traditionally dated its founding to 1158, when members of the Templars, get it? When members of the Knights Templar at the castle of Gisors in France devised 8 spiritual laws governing the transformation of the self. The octagonal rooms within the castle's famous 8-sided tower supposedly inspired the name of the society. In the realm of reliable history, however, the oldest surviving documents of the order date from 1958. What? When its guardian, Dr. Juliet Ashley, revised the training program based on the 8 laws, and those documents refer only to a 1923 text of the 8 laws. This may well have been the original formulation, as the society's methods bear the stamp of early 20th century American esotericism and mental healing. The spiritual alchemy taught by the society is a method of psychological healing, and the traditions of operative alchemy, again, operative alchemy, are used as metaphors for the transmutation of the lead of painful memories and psychological states into the gold of happiness and mental balance. The methods used have much in common with New Thought and other mind cure methods from the half century before the society's apparent emergence. See alchemy. The Octagon Society has 8 grades, number 1 through 8. So it's 1 over 8 through 8 over 8. Members of the 8th grade are eligible for advancements into 2 higher orders, the Temple of Solomon and the Ancient Order of Spiritual Alchemy. The Temple of Solomon claims to have been originally founded toward the end of the first millennium at the request of Pope John. As a military initiatory order open to single Catholic males, in its present form, it was founded in 1942 as a secret initiatory order for men and women of any religious background, and works that 3 degrees of candidate, seeker, and student. The Ancient Order of Spiritual Alchemy was founded in 1948 by 3 senior members of the Octagon Society and provides very little information about its activities to the public. Oh boy, I'm telling you, that's why I picked that as number 1. I'm telling you, you start trying to find these people, you're trying to dig too deep. Sorry, I had to give it to you. You're not responsible for that. Okay, I want to show 3 more minutes and then we have to close out. You know, I wish I could go forever, y'all.
Police hats, which are all octagonal by shape, because that represents the code word and secret symbology of the Nazi Templars from Octagon, Switzerland. And here are the octagonal badges. Octagon is here.
You want to see why our people are getting gunned down? I'm going to show you why.
Formed in the mid-19th century, around 1840 or 1853. Well, watch the octagonal shape. Octagon is here. And some more octagon. And some more. And in the early police days, they still looked like policemen and not like an army as today, 150 years later. And they didn't have the octagon hat yet. That came later. They came together with the rise of the Templar Nazis in the 30th. Yeah, a lot of octagon. Octagon from Switzerland, the Templars. Look at that. American police in the beginning. could it be else? And this also is the reason that the US brought all the German Gestapo and SS Nazi war criminals and butchers who had a Templars background from Octagon, Switzerland, into the US, working for the OSS and the CIA. And they quickly got integrated by their fellow US Templars, Masons, and Pharaohs, slowly US into a Nazi state under Pharaonic Nazi Templar rule from Octagon, the motherland. So this is, it says, the SS secret police. There's an octagon. Here, the octagonal hats of the police in Hamburg, in Germany, like New York. There was probably some Templar or Freemason who wanted to have these hats. Yeah. There's not much left of the original values of freedom and liberty for which true Americans fought so hard for out of the days before 1776. At the time when the Americans themselves were called terrorists by the British Empire. Now the enemy, both foreign and domestic, have definitely and thoroughly taken over, using an entire army within, who wear the symbols of Octagon on their heads and on their Octagon badges. This is the true army of the Nazi Templars from Octagon. This is the true military wing of the Pharaohs, the Nazi Templars. Now, what do they need a tank for? Their financial wing also carries the signs of Octagon or others. Look at the octagonal shape. Just as the Chase Bank here. Well, this is a typical Pharaonic Nazi Templar bank from Octagon, Switzerland, originally. Octagon is the symbol for the Templars and the Templars cross, and it's a secret code for the Templars and the Nazi Templars, because the Nazis, they were real Templars using the organization Octagon. And Switzerland was founded by the Templars, and the Templars founded the Swiss banks. And this is how you get to the octagonal Chase logo, which is in fact what you can see here. So this is a bank of the Octagon Nazi Templars from Switzerland, their base. Only, well, they talk American, they act American, they smile American, and but they are not. They are not. And the political wing of Octagon are the Freemasons. And the motherland is Octagon, Switzerland, carrying the name of Isis, the whore of Babylon. And look how this interior Octagon army has become a menace to freedom and justice. How violent and aggressive they are. Look, this is the Octagon Club. Yeah, the Terror Club. They're hanging around it.
All right, so for those who are concerned about police shooting our people, and if you think you're gonna get a gun and go fight back, you're confused. But what you can do is dig into the people who run them, who started it, find out the origins of it, find out who's really responsible for it. Make a real move. Don't just yell Black Power, put a fist up and look silly and do nothing. Otherwise, you're just getting views on YouTube off of the deaths of our brothers and sisters. Something I wanted to slide in there because they don't quite get it. All right, so go over this for our readings. Shalom code KOJ. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, we're gonna dig into that on the Corpus Hermeticum, the complexity of it, as mentioned by Tribe. Yeah, we're gonna deal with that, family. Let me get my song going. Also, like, subscribe, and share. Oh man, I'm putting things together to really get something going for our mind manufactured, mass produced. It's 3MP on 2MRO TV. Another separate thing. I have to create its own TV for the fact that it's a totally different topic. And here we go. All right, family. Soon I'm gonna have all my stuff up to where when I play these beats, you'll be able to really hear them instead of through the speaker like that. It sounds real horrible, actually, to me. But here, when we dig into the fact, oh, my notes ready. Yeah, when we deal into Gope Kobeho, when we deal with that, we'll go into a system I created, which is frequency plus sound equals color. Maintenance, repair, overhaul, maintenance, repair, operations, that's 2MRO. Mind manufacture, mass produce, that's 3MP. Geodynamic, biodynamic, that's GDBD4. And into friction, fusion, fission, flora, and fauna. And I call that the F5. It's a system where I deal with all gathered information that is tangible and applicable to help and support a system in the world we live in today. So, I don't just give you the history, I give you a solution for your future, our future. What moves we should make? We see all this stuff going on with this Ormus, the Qabala, the Corpus Hermeticum. You see the Octagon Society, see what's connected to them. The police are connected to them. It's very, very interesting. Okay. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. All right. Thank you, everyone, for taking your time. Come here and check out what we had in store on Lotus Television. Ordo, Templi, Orientis, Ormus, Qabala, Corpus Hermeticum, and the Pigeon Cipher. Oh, wait. We'll be going in on that tomorrow. I decided to open up a can of worms tomorrow. And tomorrow, those can of worms will be open. That's right. Yes. The Pigpen Cipher is on trial. Let me eat. All right, thank you for taking your time to come here and participate on Lotus Television. I hope you were able to gain some wisdom or gather some knowledge and find a way, or have already found a way, and it's helped you in something that you're already looking into. So I'd like to thank you for taking your time. Truly appreciate it. And I'll be looking forward to, well, let's just say after Corpus, Hermeticum, and we deal with the orders, it's going to be a very interesting ride. Okay. All right, brothers and sisters, y'all take it easy. Enjoy your evening. Everybody, peace. You already know. Peace.